and welcome into a Wednesday edition of the Power Hour. I'm Matt Seidel, filling in for DJ Yoakley, who is out in Louisville today, doing a game between Salem and
Chardon.
That's right, Salem and Chardon. So along with me today, I got EB to my right, and above me is Max Solo, as always, and Quinn up in the corner. How you doing today, guys?
Awesome.
Isn't Eric to your left?
I don't know. Is he to my left?
I'm one of the sides.
I mean, he's to my right.
Left on camera, though.
Left on camera. He's stage left. So, hey, a lot to get to today, but National Paper Airplane Day today. So my question to you guys is, did you make paper airplanes growing up? And if so, what's the furthest you've ever been able to throw one? EB, let's go to you.
I mean, of course we made paper airplanes. Who didn't make paper airplanes in middle school and high school? Maybe even college. Furthest? Dude, I have no idea. Like we didn't keep track. We didn't go out to the football field and was like, hey guys, let's see what we can do. But I mean, you got it down the hallway, it was pretty impressive, or across the classroom, whichever, depending who you're trying to hit.
Definitely. Quinn, what about you? Paper airplanes?
Yeah. I mean, we made paper airplanes. We made paper footballs. We made pretty much anything to throw at somebody. Furthest I've ever thrown it, I don't know, across the classroom maybe, if that.
Those are big classrooms in Canfield.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mac, what's your best? Because I know you're a paper airplane guy.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. What's the Guinness World Record? I mean, it's probably how far I threw mine. So we didn't calculate it, but that is somewhere probably, record breaking.
I'm guessing it's somewhere near 6 inches longer than Paige's best, right?
Of course.
About nine.
So I'm like you guys. I was a paper airplane guy too. Enjoyed making them growing up, and we used to stand up in the old balcony in Brook Gym there in Sebring and see if we could make them all the way to the other side.
Which wasn't hard, man, because it was 8 feet long.
It wasn't band blocks, but we would definitely do some of that stuff. And I even liked, back in the day, there was a hobby shop in Sebring, and they sold those model rockets that you could basically strap an M80 into the end of and see how far you could shoot it up into the air. That kind of stuff was cool too. So moving into the world of sports, we had some good games on the network yesterday and some big games on the network. I know Quinn and I were on location over in Canton at Thurman Munson Stadium, where unfortunately we saw Fitch fall to what was really, honestly, a pretty fun Massillon team to watch. Don't you think, Quinn?
Yeah, definitely.
So they played a little bit more of a small ball brand of baseball. We saw a safety squeeze executed to perfection, and definitely unfortunate to see Fitch's season come to an end. But they're a young team; they're going to be back next year. Guys, thoughts on Fitch's season? Mac, let's start with you.
I mean, it was pretty good. I think at the end of the day, it's you get in that Division I, it's a gauntlet. I mean, you get to those teams like Massillon in the Federal League. I mean, those guys, they're going to have a lot of losses because they beat each other up, and they're going out there and they're playing big time schools, and so they're deceiving. And then it always seems like when the Valley plays, a Massillon or even Jackson, Washington, whatever. It's you don't really know what they got, and they usually got a pretty good arm that's going to a big powerhouse school in the country. So, a lot of kudos to sticking with it and fighting, trying to fight their way back in there, and regroup and be ready to go next year.
No, for sure. And you mentioned those big arms, and Quinn, we got to see a really good one go yesterday, and Zach Catrone for Massillon came out really impressively. I think 9 pitches struck out the side to open up the game, just blowing right past everybody. We were commenting all day long on the pop on the catcher's mitt. But Quinn, thoughts on the game overall, thoughts on Fitch's season overall?
Yeah, I mean, they had a great year. I mean, they were 17-7, I think they finished out.
I think
I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. I know a lot of teams that would love to have 17 wins. I mean, that's a great year, and if you ask me, got to see a lot of players break out of their shells and stuff, and have good seasons individually and collectively. I mean, it led them to a district semifinals. So I think Fitch had a really good season.
I agree with you. EB, did you get a chance to see Fitch at all this year, or did you get a chance to catch up on any of the hype surrounding them?
Negative, Ghost Rider. It's I didn't watch much baseball at all this year. Sort of like every other year.
We know you've got that busy spring schedule. In other action, we got to see Heartland Christian defeat Southern, and they're going to advance to the district title game against JFK on Thursday. So 2 YSN schools battling out for a district championship on the network. And then we also saw Western Reserve avenge the football loss to Jackson Milton and pull the upset to be able to make it to the district championship game against Matthews at Fairport Harbor on Thursday. You guys looking forward to seeing either of those games? Anything in particular that you're looking for in either of those games?
Well, first off, I don't know. For me, I'm not going to consider that an upset because number one, it's a rival game. Number two, Western Reserve has 11 seniors on that team. We did the home series, and Quinn and I were both blown away about how many seniors they had. And I, from day one, I mean, being around the high school baseball for a long time, the more seniors you have, just like any other sport, the more seniors you have, the better chances you're going to have, especially early into the season and then late time when it comes to crunch time. So they just have the most experience. I wouldn't necessarily say it's an upset, but I kind of seen them in that Final Four in the district anyway. So for me, I think they're doing exactly what I thought they would do.
Yeah, Quinn, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we talked to Ed Anthony out there, and I mean, he was amped up all year about it. So seeing it kind of come to fruition was pretty special. And then the Heartland Christian team, I mean, they're having a great year too. When we did the headed home stuff, I think they said, Billy, it's been 2 years in the making to get to this point or something like that. And the team's only been around for 3, maybe 4 seasons total. So, I mean, I'm excited to see what they can do. They're another team that's pretty senior driven. So they might be able to make a run at it too in Division 4.
Yeah, and they all started as freshmen. So this senior class, I think there's like 6 or 7 of them somewhere, six or 7, and they took their lumps early, just going, hey, we're just going to keep freshmen here, and then they built off of that, and here they are. I mean, it paid off.
EB, is there something to be said in all sports for starting a young team off together and kind of bringing them along as a group? To try and achieve a bigger goal when they get to that junior and senior season?
Well, absolutely. I mean, if you have teams like that, and really just any sport, they get to grow together. Not only do they get to grow and they have those trials and tribulations, but the chemistry. A lot of everything in high school sports, whether it's baseball, softball, is just having good chemistry and a culture. And if you can weather those storms of, taking the beatings when you're freshmen and then sophomores, and, I think a team that does a great job of this, or they have in recent years, is like Crestview football, to where, they'll have a down 1 or 2 years, but they kind of plug in the older players where they need them, but they regenerate with the youth, and they grow together. And then by the time they're juniors or seniors, they put together a nice little run. And I think I don't want to say it's a keys to everything around here, but, with us being a lot of smaller schools, you see it more times than not. And it's kind of I don't want to say it's the recipe for success, but it's definitely something that you see that helps a lot, especially by the time these kids are seniors and they've been through all those situations. It helps when you're in a big game play or a situation or on a big stage.
I definitely agree with that, and I'm going to be interested to see. I think that there's some potential for this to be an interesting matchup between Heartland Christian and JFK. JFK's got a lot of the star power and they get a lot of the publicity, but that Heartland Christian team has been together for quite a few years now, and they've kind of been through all of it. And, DJ and I were talking about today, they can definitely hit the ball.
I'm going to tell you right now, the best way to get to Kennedy is to have every single batter have a full count, and that 125 comes really fast for Cam Hollowball. Because if Cam Hollowball pitches the entire game, it's going to be tough sledding for Heartland Christian.
For sure, and I think everybody agrees with that. We've seen Cam kind of be able to dominate on the football field and then on the basketball court, and now he's getting it done on the diamond as well. How excited are you guys when you get to see big time athletes that are 3, maybe 4 sport athletes in some cases? When do you like seeing the kids that they kind of get the headlines and everything, or are you more of the kind of guy that's into the whole team as a whole that's been together for a while?
I mean, a little of both. I mean, I like seeing like the individual success for our area. I mean, it just boosts our area, and it kind of proves that our area is really good at what we do. Seeing it on all aspects of every sport. But I mean, I know that it takes a team to make a run at it and stuff like that. So like, I mean, you look back in just basketball, I mean, the McDonald girls, it took a whole team to get to the point where they were compared to an individual,
No, for sure. So guys, there's a bunch of games that were scheduled to be on the network tonight, and we've seen quite a few weather related issues and delays and changes already, even though we were kind of talking about it before the show. We haven't really seen much of that weather come through yet. So the games at Scene Park have been moved to Thursday, and that'll include the matchups between Rootstown and South Range, Canfield and Canton South, and Berkshire and Mooney. Also moved in softball action are the Ursuline and Brookside game and South Range and Tuslaw games. They've been moved to Thursday as well. And so that leaves us tonight with West Branch, who's facing off with Revere in softball at Firestone Park in Akron, but it's been moved back to 8 p.m. Kind of an interesting start time for a game, 8 o'clock, on a Wednesday night. But we definitely wish West Branch the best of luck, and Anthony will have you covered on that game. And then, as we mentioned before, DJ's at Louisville for Salem versus Chardon tonight. That game, I think it's got to be because they've got the turf there that they're going to be able to, weather the storm, so to speak, and get that game in. Which game or which team do you think, or both, could we see moving on tonight? Mac.
West Branch. I like West Branch's chances to advance tonight with Anderson pitching. She's been stellar all year long. The culture, you talk about a culture and expectation. I mean, outside of champion softball, I mean, nobody's been better and been in state championship games or had the experience of long postseason runs like West Branch. So that would be I anticipate that to happen tonight. For sure.
Quinn, either one or both, or maybe neither one. Which one are you looking at?
I'm going to agree with Mac. I'm going to go West Branch, mainly because every time I pick against Chardon, it seems to go bad. So I don't want to be a part of that. But hopefully, I mean, do we know who's pitching for Salem? Is it Rhodes?
Yeah, it's
Rhodes.
Is it?
Yeah.
Then I'm going to say both. Then if he's pitching, I'm going both. Never mind.
So I'm going to say I honestly think that we could see both teams advance. I've been lucky enough to see the Salem team a couple times this year. What's going to be interesting to see in that game is, does Salem dig themselves too big of a hole early on? Because they've kind of liked to, take the approach of being a comeback team all year long. And I've seen them a couple of times kind of get behind early on and then come from behind to win the game. So it'll be interesting to see if they take that approach or if they try and come out hot. Like Quinn mentioned, you definitely don't want to mess around too much with the Chardon team. It never seems to work out well. So those are the games that we've got on the network tonight, just the 2 games, but definitely 2 big ones. And you can catch those live on ysnlive.com for the low price of $9.99. So make sure and tune in and check those ones out. The other thing I want to talk about, guys, is the Scrappers. They're off to a 2-0 start, and tonight is the home opener. And obviously, with having the tarp at Eastwood Field, they're going to be able to get that game in. EB, are you thinking maybe you might want to check out some baseball action with the Scrappers this year?
I mean, I always check out the Scrappers or anyway, if I get a chance. It's not that I like hate baseball. I just don't follow it. So, I mean, if I get an opportunity to watch a game or I can, especially the, I guess, I don't know what you'd call them, like the lower level pros or anything like that, because a lot of those guys, they're just starting out and they're the ones that you get to see, 5-6 years down the road. When I lived in Akron, some of my favorite times were going down to the park just to watch a game there. They're good, nice, intimate settings to where you get in on a dollar draft night or a dollar dog night or anything like that. It's a good experience all around.
Mac, thoughts on the Scrappers starting off 2-0 and coming home to have their home opener at Eastwood tonight?
Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know much about it. I've been so busy with baseball and then, with us, what's going on. So I wouldn't be an expert on this, but it will be very difficult for me to get out to a game with the summer that I have looking forward to with two Astro teams and running around doing stuff for YSN. It will be awfully hard to get out there to catch a game this year.
For sure. I think the big draw with the Scrappers this year is it's the inaugural year of it being the draft league. And so you're going to get a chance to see some guys that could potentially be future stars in Major League Baseball, coming through the area and coming through the Youngstown area. So it'll definitely be intriguing to see. Quinn, I wanted to ask you, what's your favorite minor league baseball promotional night?
Dollar Food Days. Come on now.
Dollar
Food Day. Yeah, Dollar Food Day. Whatever that is, popcorn, corn dogs, hot dogs, dollar, whatever.
EB, you've been to the Akron Park quite a bit. Have you seen any interesting ones? Any different ones off the wall?
Of like food days?
No, the different like promotional days that they run, where maybe like the kids get to run the bases after the game.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you see all that stuff. It's probably I forget what it was. I think it was either like dollar draft or like quarter draft, or like they would have different college specials, which obviously as a college student you were always all about. But you can't go wrong, like Quinn said, with a dollar dog or anything like that. Look, stadium hot dogs are just different, and I don't care who says anything, that they're just different.
No, they definitely are. Mac, as our resident, kind of baseball expert, have you seen any off-the-wall promotions that you've kind of liked and enjoyed?
I mean, my favorite promotion is dollar beer. Like, I mean, that's for me, that's the one to go to. We've seen some crazy bobblehead dolls. Like, they'll do a promotion. I think the Indians did a couple years ago where they had the Friends, like the TV show Friends bobblehead night. The bobblehead one is always a big one they pick a player, they pick a theme or whatnot, or mascots or something like that. So the bobbleheads is a real famous one for everybody. I haven't really seen anything off the wall. Probably the most two famous is like dollar dogs or corn dogs or beer or the bobblehead night.
Look, the Rock and Blast at Cleveland though is awesome.
Yeah.
And I know there's going to be fireworks at Eastwood tonight, weather permitting. So, definitely a good kickoff to the season for the Scrappers. I think the best promotion that I've seen so far this year, though, from minor league baseball was did you guys see the beer bats? Those things are pretty cool. I think it was like $1 to fill them and $20 to get it at the gate, and you could kind of refill it all night long. Kind of looked into it because I was interested in. They're $19.95 a piece, but you have to commit to an order of 500. So, who's in with me?
500.
500 at $19.99 a piece.
I mean, Amazon's a thing. I mean, It's a thing.
Dude, we could probably go find an injection mold around here and have them make them the bats for a lot cheaper.
No, right to Bear Brothers. You know what I mean? Like
the wooden version.
You know. Oh.
So always interested to see some of those minor league baseball promotions. I know I saw somewhere last year they did one with Kevin from The Office where he showed up and threw out the first pitch, and they played Office clips in between all the innings and things like that. And as a fan of The Office, that one was kind of cool to me as well. So
I'm not a fan of The Office.
You're
it's not my thing.
So
it's like too dry. It's like dry humor. Like a dry humor.
I think if you've ever been in sales or an office job, you completely understand it. But if you've never been in a sales setting,
it's not. Yeah,
then then it's just not going to be your cup of tea.
Like the meetings to just have a meeting. You know, like anybody that's ever worked in an office environment, you've been there. You know, the meetings
right
in an email
or where they go through like the fake phone call. You know, I want you to.
Blood liquor, our prices have never been lower.
Yeah, it's just or the stupid little like the little basketball game, like what I think that was like episode or season 1. But I mean, just the intricacies of how it's set up, like it's probably the most like accurate take on what corporate America kind of is.
Yeah, it's definitely I enjoy watching it. I still turn it on when it's on, you know, TBS late at night or any of those places. So we'll have to wait and see if the Scrappers come up with any kind of interesting promotions as the season goes on, and maybe we'll get a Max Solo bobblehead doll night or something. So before we get to the break, guys, I wanted to ask you, because it kind of came out today that that Aaron Rodgers, instead of attending OTAs with the Green Bay Packers, is in Hawaii with his girlfriend and fiance and a group of his friends. Are you guys thinking he needs to be at OTAs, or should he be there? And the follow-up question to that is, a bunch of his wide receivers didn't show. So they're like putting tight ends and people out to catch passes from these backup quarterbacks that they've got on the roster. Mac, you think he should be there?
Why? The guy's coming off of MVP. He's 37 years old. How many years has he played? 18, 17, something like that? Why does he have to be there? You think he doesn't know the offense? I'm here for it. I'm here for Aaron Rodgers. I'm not here for the Green Bay Packers. And the Green Bay Packers will stink if Aaron Rodgers isn't underneath center this year.
I agree with that statement. Quinn, do you think that it's the right look for him to be in Hawaii, like cliff diving, while his teammates are all up in Green Bay and working?
No, it don't matter. Like Billy said, he's been in the league for God knows how long. He's the MVP. He's done everything. Like, it's pointless. He doesn't need to be there. It was like Roethlisberger when he went to that one. He was throwing himself into the pads on purpose. They don't need to be there.
Definitely. EB, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, his wide receivers aren't there, so it's not like he's building a chemistry with anyone. And like Mac and Quinn said, he's now 37 years old. What more is he going to do at OTAs and anything? And if anything, like probably being in Hawaii is going to help him prolong just because of the rest. I mean, he's going to show up to help Jordan Love or whoever. Like I think after like your third or fourth year as a quarterback, OTAs are kind of pointless.
Well, like, what does he do there? Like, he's going to throw probably 20 passes all day. Like, it's pointless.
You know who needs to be there, though?
Who?
Baker Mayfield needs to be at OTAs because he stinks, too.
At the Green Bay Packers OTAs? Or
he probably could use a couple more reps so he can go to their Green Bay as well. Because, boy.
Jeez. Man, so Paige is mentioning down in the comments that he had an interview on SportsCenter the other night, and he thinks he's turning into a kind of odd dude. I have to kind of agree with Paige, but at the same time, I have to disagree with him because Rodgers has always been kind of a different character. He's never been that, really straight-laced guy.
Please use your options and then
do some different things and show up at basketball games and chugging beers and but I would agree that his personality is kind of becoming a little bit of a different personality for an NFL quarterback. Mac, did you happen to catch any of that interview or see any of the clips of it?
Yeah, what I think is at some point he's understanding. Aaron is pronouns, but he's understanding that there's life after football, and people who get these media jobs and Jeopardy or someplace in Hollywood, you can't just be Bill Belichick and yes sir, no sir, next game. You got to have a personality, and I think he's kind of going to that quirky route. So he's going to get something, after football. If you're so dry, and that's what every owner wants is a dry quarterback and dry players. Just yes, next question. Next team, on to Cincinnati. You know what I mean? So, he's preparing for life after football. There's no doubt. I think he would be okay if he never played again. I don't think he wants to stop playing, but I think if he never played again, he would be okay. But he's not Kyrie. Kyrie said the world was flat. Ain't nobody like Kyrie. Kyrie a different dude. He's a different breed, man.
Listen, be careful how far out there you go. You might fall off the edge.
If you're Kyrie.
He'd be fair or foul that he's turning into the Kyrie Irving of the NFL.
No, dude. People need to realize, these professional players are, they're not what you see on SportsCenter. Some of them are actually kind of freaking weird. They have their own, they have their own thoughts and theories. It's sort of like probably people who watch us and they get to know us are like, wow, that's actually a really weird dude. It's they're humans, and that's what people don't realize is they celebritize these people, but they dehumanize them too. Dude, you look, have some of these people come hang out with us on a Friday night after football, and they're gonna walk away and be like, these dudes are freaking whack jobs.
Oh yeah, I think a little bit of that comes through on the show, though. I think that talking to some of the people that have met us outside and then are meeting us in here or watching us in here, they're like, you guys are kind of the same people, but you're just on steroids on the show. Quinn, I think we were all laughing along because as all of us being coaches, we've had the unique ability to kind of deal with athletes that might have some unique characters. Can you think of without naming names, a player that you've had that's kind of had one of those quirky personalities in the past?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
What was the quirkiness?
It's a weird individual. It's very weird.
Yeah,
very weird. I'll tell you this though, there's nobody weirder in football than kickers and specialists. Those are the weird ones.
They're definitely a different breed, and they kind of they keep to themselves.
Yeah, just think of Jeff's boy.
What's that?
Betos' boy, his man crush.
McAfee.
Dude's a weirdo.
Yeah, kind of off the wall, but he kind of broke the mold of what you think of when you think of kickers and punters with personality. Typically, they're those kind of almost nerdy guys at practice that keep to themselves and all they do is kick all day long. And, I think of times of going up and seeing Brown's training camp and watching Phil Dawson being out there 30 minutes before practice started. And he's got a barometric pressure reader that he's, trying to figure out.
Another reason they should just get rid of all kickers. No kicking at all.
Billy, there was a time when Phil was the only one making kicks that helped us win games.
And that shows you how bad we would have been
over.
Well, we've already been there. Might as well do it again. The Baker Mayfield then.
We're going to take a break right now, but when we come back, we've got a couple of interesting topics that we're going to talk about, including we're going to talk about picking your all-time big three from the same era for basketball. Interesting kind of question that got posed on Twitter earlier today about which big three you would take, and we're going to add our own spin with being able to kind of pick your own big three. And then obviously we'll get to our G. Burbick Farms, what's your beef, what's your filet as well, and maybe a couple more topics that get thrown in along the way. Quinn, you want to take us to the commercials?
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Rude gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy efficient expert MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Rude, and so should you.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Rain will come and go tomorrow. There'll be some dry intervals.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
60 years ago, Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods began with 3 siblings, a hand-set sawmill, and a few local orders. And while business has certainly changed over the years, what has not are our principles of hard work, craftsmanship, and commitment to quality. At Baird Brothers, we're proud to put our name on the products we create, from moldings and doors to flooring and lumber. Thank you for 60 great years. We look forward to 60 more. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Welcome back into a Wednesday edition of the Power Hour. I'm Matt Seidel, along with a few of my friends, EB, Quinn, and Max Solo. Guys, big announcement today from the world of golf, and I want to get your take on it. And don't worry, Billy Mack, it's not a real golf thing. It's kind of a for-fun golf thing. So on July 6th, Capital One has announced that it's the return of what they call the match. And it's going to be Phil Mickelson teaming up with Tom Brady again. But this time they're going to take on Bryson DeChambeau and Aaron Rodgers. Are you guys interested in
Bryson DeChambeau? Oh, no.
Are you guys
by 7
figuring this out?
Well, we know why Aaron Rodgers is in Hawaii. He's obviously practicing golf.
Absolutely. I thought it was funny that Tom Brady already, when he kind of announced this on his Twitter account, he tweeted out that it's going to be 2 champions versus a scientist and a Jeopardy host. So I love Tom Brady when he's throwing shade. Quinn, what do you think?
Phil and Tom are going to win this by 10 holes. Like, it won't even be close.
I don't know, though, because Aaron's actually a scratch golfer, isn't he?
So is Brady, isn't he?
I'm not sure.
It don't matter. It's Phil. Phil's better than Bryson, so.
He played pretty well when they played against Peyton. And was it Tiger, I think, last time?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I kind of like these events out of golf because it gets some people that maybe wouldn't be golf fans interested in tuning in and checking out some of the action.
Should have picked a better golfer. That's all.
Than Bryson DeChambeau?
Yeah.
You know, and I agree with you. I think that there's some guys that you definitely could have gone to. You could have gone to like Brooks Koepka or, you could have got a bigger name in there. Or a guy.
Brooks Koepka.
Mac, you're such a golf hater.
It's completely boring. It's like watching paint dry. It's like this. Now watch it dry.
Mac had a great time at Top Golf, though.
I did have a great time at Top Golf. It's awesome.
That's not golf, though. That's a different kind of animal altogether. So, guys, moving on to our next topic, and I'm real interested to get your takes on this one. So, it got tweeted out today. Pick your big 3 to make a run with in the playoffs. Are you going with A, Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman, B, Thompson, Curry, and Durant, C, Wade, James, and Bosch, or D, Durant, Harden, and Irving? Or I'm going to let you guys do this. Pick your own big 3 but they have to be from the same era. Quinn, let's start with you.
Yep.
Picking my own. It's going from the 80s. Magic, Michael, and Kareem.
That's a solid good three.
Good luck.
Did Kareem and Michael ever play against each other?
Early 80s, regular season.
Mid 80s, yeah, something like that.
That was a legit question because I had no idea.
That'd be a tough one. I mean, I'd have to go the 90s.
That's where I was thinking too.
And for sure, I'm gonna go Michael. I mean, that's a shoe-in. I'm sort of like torn between Karl Malone and Hakeem.
See, I was thinking Shaq.
Well, I'm also kind of torn between that. Like early Shaq. We'll go Michael, Shaq, and damn, man. Like naturally I want to say Penny Hardaway. Pre-injury.
Pre-injury's tough.
Mac, who's your squad?
I'm going similar to EB. I want to go, obviously, the GOAT, Michael Jordan. Then I want to go Shaq. And I can't remember if they played in the same era, but I'm gonna put him in there anyway because I don't care. Pre-injury, since you said pre-injury, we're gonna go pre-injury. Grant Hill.
Ooh, interesting pick.
And I almost took Shaq out and put Tracy McGrady, but I think that's just a little bit outside of the.
That's the late 90s.
Yeah, and I mean, when you get a chance to put Shaq on a roster, you almost have to do it.
Yeah, I mean, most dominant big man of all time. I mean, it's hard to argue it.
So I want to address this really quick. Michael Page comments down there in the bleacher section and says Curry, Clay, and Durant at full health and in their prime was a frightening thing. It was in today's NBA. However, that team having to face off with like the bad boy Pistons or somebody like that, not a fighting chance.
I don't know. Because
Curry would be thrown to the ground and he would start crying.
They didn't really hit you outside the arc, though. They'll just sit out there and chuck up a bunch of shots.
Well, they would adjust.
Really, the matchup nightmare out of Curry, Clay, and Durant's Durant.
Yeah.
He's the one that sets everything. He's the anomaly because he's the 6'11" shooting guard. You know, yeah, he's gonna give up a lot of body and strength on the inside, but he's gonna get you with the length. I hate this argument where it's a bullshit argument where these players they couldn't handle the bad boys or the 90s. Dude, yes, they could. Absolutely, they could.
Yes, they could.
Like these are top tier athletes that absolutely train. Just because you see them catered to the calls and how the NBA is now, like that's not their fault. I promise you, if they were playing in the 80s or 90s, or if LeBron played against them, dude, he is a 6'8", 280-pound man who can run a 4.5 40. You're not going to step in front of him and not feel something.
So LeBron's not the argument here. The argument is Clay, Curry.
And I'm not. I'm not
It's
taking
the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking it in all generalizations to where it doesn't matter if it's LeBron, if it's Durant, if it's like they're top tier athletes. They would be able to handle that brand of basketball.
I don't know. I don't think that Clay and Steph could have handled that kind of physicality back in the day.
I think more Steph would become more of a outside, which is what he is now. But I don't think he would be even the threat of driving to the basket would be in Clay's repertoire. I think it would just be sitting out and shooting, which I think he would be fine for. Because that was an era where they just didn't shoot 3-pointers, period.
I mean, that's what Mark Price did, and everyone seemed to love him. So
Yeah.
That's true. That is a solid argument with Mark Price.
But I don't think Mark Price is a high caliber player as Steph Curry is today in today's game.
No, not at all. I mean, stuff like people.
Like, could Steph play then? Yeah. Would he be Mark Price?
Well, just think of it then. Back then, Steph's dad was considered probably one of the top 3-point shooters in the game in history at that point.
Yeah.
And Steph broke that record in what is like 6 years ago.
Well, he's about to break Ray Allen and Jason Kidd's 3-point here in the next year or two
on like 1,000 less shots.
I know that there's going to be arguments on this one, but my squad is going to be I'm taking Jordan, I'm taking Magic, and I'm taking Larry.
Have fun guarding Kareem. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I think Larry matches up good there.
Yeah, it worked out real well in the 85 finals when Kareem won MVP.
We'll see how it works out. I think that there's more support around Larry this time. Larry was trying to get it done at both ends of the floor at that time.
I just want to point out that like Quinn made his pick and no LeBron in that mix.
I am surprised by that. What's up with that, Quinn? We know you're the biggest LeBron player.
You have the unstoppable hook shot. You have the greatest point guard arguably to ever play basketball, and you have
the greatest player. Right. Yeah,
tough greatest player. And if you think about it, like there's nothing in this era that can match up with that.
Brandon McPherson.
This era be LeBron, Kobe, Shaq.
Brandon McPherson making a point down in the comments saying that Iverson can keep pace in today's NBA. And listen, B-Mac, I agree with that. I think that Iverson would be fun to watch in today's NBA.
Listen, if I'm playing 3-on-3, Iverson is my first pick over anybody. Like, if it's just like a 3-on-3 tournament, that's my number one pick in the draft. Is a guy who can break anybody down all day.
I thought you were going to be a white chocolate guy.
Oh, I'm big on
dude. If we're going 3-on-3, I'm going Iverson, I'm going Jason Williams, and I'm going T-Mac.
Yeah.
That would be the most entertaining free that you could ever see.
So were you guys hopeful? I mean, I was kind of hopeful that the 3-on-3 thing was going to take off when they tried to start that a couple years ago.
I watched it. It was brutal.
It was.
It was terrible watching those old guys try to play.
Screw that. Bring back slam ball.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a blast from the past.
Bring back football with basketball and trampolines. Absolutely pure entertainment.
I don't know how there weren't more like life-threatening injuries in that, because there was some dangerous stuff that was going down in those slam ball games.
Well, that's because players of today couldn't handle the 80s, so we just upped it a little bit.
Probably had like 10 feet of padding on everything.
Just stirring a pot, Sido. That's all I'm doing.
I know you are.
I'm going to go put it on Yappy, actually.
There you go. You could blast it out on Yappy and then send links out on your Twitter account.
Absolutely. Not Matt Sido.
So, guys, I'm interested to get your takes on who do we think we're going to see from the area make it to the state level in baseball. Billy Mack, who do you think are some of the teams that are left in the tournament that you think have a good long run left in them?
Canfield.
Is that the only one?
Yeah. I mean, to me, that's the only one that is a complete that has it figured out all the way through the roster. You're talking about a team that had 8 of its 9 starters were all AAC. I mean, the entire team but one player got a nomination for all AAC in their league. They got 3 really good pitchers. They hit the ball all over the place. They got table setters. They got guys who clean it up. They play great defense. A lot of college guys on that team, or potentially college guys on that team. I mean, that's the team. If I had to put, Skittles on something, that would be where my Skittles would be at. So if I had to just pick one team, that's kind of where I'm at, and I think that's probably for me the only team that I could see making a run and hoisting a trophy up at the end.
Would
Not that anybody else can't. You got to get lucky at the same time being good. But like when you don't have any luck, you got to count on the horses you got.
So are you just taking the baseball side, or does that include the softball side as well?
Oh, so that was just the baseball side. Softball, man. I think I've been saying there's probably 2. I think West Branch is a possibility. And it's going to be either Ursuline or South Range. So one of them is going to make it. So
I think that Ursuline South Range matchup is one that everybody's been kind of looking forward to all year in the tournament. Seeing that kind of come together as they both made good long tournament runs. EB, if you were a betting man and you had to put all your Skittles somewhere, where are you putting them?
Probably in my mouth, but
Woo!
Yeah, I'm gonna follow Mac just because he kind of knows it. And look, just from what he said, when you have 8 of 9 people, 8 of your 9 on all AAC or all conference, like that's not a mistake. That's because you're pretty damn good. I would love to see Salem make a little run. It's been talking to a couple of our parents there. It's kind of been the year of the Quaker. And I'd love to see these spring sports continue to go on. We won league in I think all but 2 sports pretty much, which was softball and football. And I'd like to see those baseball boys can continue the trend. Like Max said, it takes a combination of being lucky and good. So see how the ball bounces, and hopefully here in the next hour or so, we'll see how they do against Chardon. And then softball, dude, it's going to come down to the winner of South Range, Ursuline. Naturally, I want to say all you've heard about is Ursuline, and they're loaded. So, but South Range is, dude, they're used to this. Like they've been counted out, but in years past, they've always been, their season doesn't start until the postseason. So whoever wins that one.
No, I agree with you, Quinn. I'm going to give you 100 Skittles to put down as a bet, but you're not allowed to take any of the teams that have been mentioned so far. Who you put your money on?
So I can't put it on my own high school? That's messed up.
Yeah, I'm taking them away from you.
You better eat them.
Yeah,
taste the rainbow.
I mean, then
not
I'm
the yellow ones though. Not
taking my $100 and I'm going home. I'm not betting it because that's all I got. If I had to pick one that we didn't talk about,
yeah,
I'm going to say the winner of
pick a dark
in Heartland.
JFK and Heartland.
The winner of that game.
The winner of that game. That's not a bad pick. I think D4 is not obviously nearly as loaded as D2 is. And even though I think Canfield, has an unbelievable squad this year, that D2 tournament is just a meat grinder of a tournament bracket. So if they come out of it, to me, that's one of the biggest shining achievements of the year.
Well, the problem is getting to the Final Four is not a big. It's a big deal, but once you get there, you're going to get these small schools that are all over on the west side of Ohio, and there's D1 arm after D1 arm in these programs, and you're looking at more programs that are parochial school or smaller and private schools where they go to that school to play baseball. It's just that simple. And those schools facilitate draft guys or Division I college guys. So that's the problem you run in the D4. You can make a run in districts, and then when you get out of districts, what do you have in regionals and then in the state finals? Usually you're going to see a Division I or a college arm the rest of the way out after districts. That's kind of where like those teams can match up in like a game, but like it's the second game. It's the year one is on the bench because he just threw. Can you get past the second game? That's kind of where, teams like Canfield have the advantage because they just reload the bullet in the gun. They got another college guy, another college guy. And that's kind of where, at least for me, I'll make my decision. I mean, obviously it's an easy pick. They haven't lost a game yet. I think for me, if you haven't lost a game yet, I think we're going to bet on you until you lose. It's just that simple for me.
Sure. That makes a lot of sense to me, but I was interested in something that you said there about, some of these smaller schools on the western part of the state or maybe even down around the Cincinnati area. Do we see more and more schools in that kind of an area on the western half of the state that are these baseball athlete factories?
I mean, it's similar to football, right? So, you know, in those D4, like what would be D7 and D6 teams, I mean, those schools still have a lot of really good athletes that play football. A lot of those kids play baseball. And then you put in a best baseball specialist coming in to mix in with those athletes. And that's kind of where you see, you know, D4 and D3 teams. Usually you're going to get to that parochial school where they come in for athletics purposes a lot of the times, as we know. So,
do you think that it's got anything to do with the fact that kind of on that western part of the state, even though they might be smaller schools, they're gigantic districts with a lot of land in them, a lot of area in them, where they're, you know, kind of attracting kids from a wider net?
Yeah, I mean, and then I think you build the program, and, you know, with open enrollment as well, I think once you build a program and you build some success, kids are going to flock to playing for successful programs.
For sure. For sure.
And baseball is all about, just like athletics is all about networking. So, like, where can I go to best put my kid on the map to get them whatever next level they are dreaming about, whether it's college or whether it's junior college or whether it's, you know, to the draft, whatever.
Definitely. So, guys, that's going to wrap things up for the regular portion of our show today. But as always, it's time for us to get to our G. Burbick Farms and What's Your Beef. G. Burbick Farms, make sure you get on out there. Billy, I know you had a chance to sample some of the G. Burbick's beef over the weekend. You know, live up to expectations. Were you able to beat his meat?
Yeah. Again, I've been saying for the last couple of days, if you don't go out to G. Burbick Farms,
children,
you're
man.
really
We're like seventh graders.
you're really missing out on an opportunity to do yourself some justice. Go there. Stop going to grocery marketplaces. Go right to G. Burbick Farms and do yourself a favor. This is why DJ has to be here.
All right, EB, what's your beef?
That's a great question. I'm kind of derailed right now.
Here, I got a beef. Let me go. You can think about it.
Yeah, let Matt go. I got to think again.
My beef is I'm in Boardman, Ohio, and it has not even a raindrop has came down here, but I know it's been kind of all over. So at least at the moment, I'm upset about a 2:00 start time. I think we could have got one game in, but maybe the idea to push all those games back today, South Range and Ursuline for softball at Youngstown State University. Maybe it rained over there. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. Maybe they just didn't want to have one game being completed and the second wave of storms coming in kind of bounced South Range out. But either way, I'm disappointed. I was looking forward to today and seeing getting one step closer to a possible matchup between Ursuline and South Range, because that's what I'm here for. I'm here for Ursuline South Range. Anything less, I will be disappointed at. Okay.
That's a good beef. I'm right on board with you. I think that we definitely could have got some more games in today, and disappointed to see some of the action get canceled for this afternoon. So, EB, you ready?
Yeah, we'll go. I don't know if it's a beef or a fillet, but, you know, obviously, like, AAU's kind of winding down, and I don't know what to do with myself right now. So, in a sense, it's almost giving me, like, an anxiety because I have time on my hands in the evening. And then I realized my beef is I should probably create more friends throughout the year, because I'm one of those weird A-Rod losers who really don't have much to do. Not in Hawaii.
Aaron.
Hey, Aaron, discount double check.
Unfortunately, not in Hawaii, right, EB?
Yeah, unfortunately not in Hawaii. But there's going to be a great smoker over at Birdfish if you guys want to go get some barbecue and beers. Let's go. I'll pay.
Cool.
Beef or filet?
It's a filet with Billy. We went golfing this morning to the driving range, fixed my drive. I'm ready to go. Amo, I'm coming for you. I would say DJ, but he didn't do anything in that matchup. And Jamie and Richie, you're going down.
It's my beef. I didn't get invited.
You're in the group text.
I didn't know that we were going to the driving range. I don't have golf clubs, but I would have went.
You're talking to Quinn, did you just cut me from the team?
Say what?
Did you just cut me from the team and add Billy?
No, that was
because
just
you stink.
Earlier today.
That's why. Like, you stink.
Billy ain't going to go golf with us. He only golfs at certain places.
Oh, that's right. Billy's too high class for us.
Someone teach me how to golf so I can go golf.
All right, don't let me full screen because I want your reaction to this. But my beef today is with you, Quinn, because when we did the game yesterday at Munson, you weren't willing to take my shoe and kill that spider for us.
No.
And
you put one in front of me?
I'm extremely disappointed. I mean, it was crawling right there on your phone. All you had to do was, protect me while I was doing play-by-play, and you weren't even willing to take my own shoe and do it.
You want to compare the size between the two of us?
12 and a half.
11 and a half. Didn't want to break my phone.
They gave you more room so that you could swat.
Listen, I was still mad at you for making me stand in the heat with no wind.
Remember the tape next time. We'll have that issue. So Michael Page chiming in saying that his beef today is that the cheapest Indians ticket for opening day 2.0 is $140. I'm not sure what he means by opening day 2.0.
Because
when
the
capacity opens to 100.
Capacity, full capacity.
The capacity limit.
Why would you want to go watch that team?
Don't matter. Listen, it's not going to sell out anyway. It doesn't matter.
By the way, the Padres, best team in baseball. End it. Wave the flag. Wave the flag.
Don't do it.
No, we're going to stay on for a little longer.
Wave the flag.
Don't do it.
Wave the flag.
No,
Come on.
For our show today, for Mac, Quinn, EB, I'm Matt Seidel, and of all the shows that we've ever
can't beat Greg's meat and put Skittles in your mouth. Let's go.
Wave the flag.